we will explain to them, what we had to experience the survey, not in person, but to be on.
I'm Maria,
I am Antonio.
and this is how we encounter Jesus.
So back in September in 2019, I had to go back to Guatemala. That's where I was born. To finalize an immigration process that I was going through. And the process was supposed to be taking only 15 days, and it ended up taking 15 months.
After we found out that his trip back home to Guatemala was not going to be the 2 or 3 weeks we were anticipating, we started a process of doing everything we could to try to get him home earlier. And after 4 months of trying everything we could, we decided to join him down in Guatemala because we frankly couldn't live without him.
Small villages from, especially in Central America or South America, they're very poor. There's a lot of poverty there. And so when my wife came and, the pandemic happened, a lot of families down there, they lost their job and they started, struggling a lot.
I think we were there for maybe 6 weeks before the pandemic hit, and we would be walking down the road and a mother came up to us and she was trying to sell her corte, which is their traditional wear that they have, and it was her daughter's. As a mother, to sell your own child's corte to be able to have groceries was heartbreaking to me. I talked to Antonio and I said, look, we don't need this, because it wasn't Mia's size. And I also didn't want to buy this poor little girl's corte, but we had the ability at that time that we were like, we can pay you what you're asking for this corte, but please keep it. I still felt like this was such a eye-opening experience for me, especially being born and raised in America. One time I was wanting to share the story on Facebook, and I talked to Antonio about it, and I said, do you think it would be okay to share this? Because I really want to show people how blessed you are just to be here, just to be in America, where there's food banks and government assistance and things like that. And to be able to even upload videos, or to be able to have video phone calls with our family back home, we would have to climb the mountain, which was across the street from where we lived. His family home was literally like dirt road, river, mountain. And that's where we made our phone calls. That's where we uploaded things to Facebook. We kind of shared our story of how getting to Guatemala and being and living in Guatemala, what it was like. And that was also where Antonio would actually broadcast the live stream from church on the mountaintop, because that's the only way we could actually have access to videos.
I was like, man, we don't have a good, phone service here. So I was like, I know that top of that mountain, there's a good, phone service. So I was like, let's go. And then I knew the time that it was going to go live. So we will go. And sometimes I'll have to carry 2 of my kids, because the mountain is really...
It's very steep.
Yeah, it is. So we would go there and start watching the service, and it was giving me peace, to be honest. And it helped me. It helped me so much. I feel like it was every day that I needed a word from God. I needed an encouragement. And I would remember to go on a Sunday and watch the live. And it was just so, it would make my heart happy.
So once we started hearing these stories, like literally we were walking down the road to go visit, some lime trees or avocado trees, and people were finding us on the side of the road and telling us like, oh, we're selling our chicken, or we're selling our rooster, we're selling this clothing, because they no longer had income due to the pandemic. And anytime we had the ability, we would just say, keep the chicken, keep the rooster, keep whatever, and we'll pay you the money you're asking for, because at that time we had been blessed. God had really continued to bless us in a way that we were able to not only put food on our own family's table, but we were able to maintain all of our bills back home. I shared that one interaction on Facebook, and a bunch of our friends responded, and they were like, wow, this is heartbreaking, especially because a lot of our friends are parents. And they said, how can we help? And we realized that, okay, the best thing we can do is try to buy food for these families. And then it turned into more people wanting to donate, and we basically organically started a food bank. We ended up being able to feed every single family in that village, and that was 190 families. And this is just friends from Facebook sending and sharing our story and sending money. And at that time, it was also a blessing. This is where Jesus really showed up, because the leaders of that village had dropped the ball, and they actually forgot to file the proper paperwork to be able to receive assistance from the government. So to be able to cover that at a time that not only did the government not have that assistance, but at a time that we were never even supposed to be there. He wasn't supposed to be there. We were all supposed to be back home by that point. Like, we weren't even, none of this was planned. And what's really funny is that this actually was what we consider worst case scenario, was Antonio being stuck in Guatemala and us joining him down there. And it ended up being the best experience of our lives, not only because we got to know the culture, but because we actually got to make an impact in this village at a time when they needed it the most.